You're all set.
Thank you. Welcome to the Tuesday, November 17th Planning Board meeting. Let's see, the first item on the agenda is the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion, we sign the,
Moved by
Accepted.
Babe, seconded by Joe. All those in favor, unanimous of 4. Okay, 701, application Milford, Mass. Farmers Market, 51 School Street, for special permit approval to conduct a seasonal farmers market as provided for in section 2.3 and 3.17 of the zoning bylaw, to be located on 16.5 acre site at 66 School Street. It shows on Assessors Map 41, Lot 162. It's an RA General Residential Zone.
So he's doing it for you?
Larry, you want to paraphrase your letter?
Did you want to have Karen read the legal?
Oh, I'm sorry. Karen, please.
The Milford Planning Board notice of public hearing on Tuesday, November 17, 2015, in Room 3 of the Milford Town Hall, 52 Main Street. The Milford Planning Board will, at times designated, conduct public hearings regarding the following. 7:01 p.m. Application of the Milford, Mass. Farmers Market Incorporated, 51 School Street, Milford, Mass. for special permit approval to conduct a seasonal farmers market as provided for in section 2.3 and section 3.17 of the zoning bylaw, to be located on a 16.5 acre site at 66 School Street, as shown on Assessors Map 41, Lot 162, RA General Residential Zone. The full application and/or maps of the above items are available for public inspection Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Office of Planning and Engineering in the Town Hall, 52 Main Street, Milford, Mass. Interested parties may express their views at the above scheduled hearings.
Thank you. Larry, you want to go through yours?
Yes, thank you, John. The applicant requests a special permit approval for a farmer's market on the 16.5 acre subject property. The zoning bylaw was recently amended to add section 3.17 that provides for farmers markets by planning board special permit. The proposal is to conduct a seasonal farmers market on the small portion of the subject property located along the Spruce Street frontage near Stacy School. The site is referenced as 66 School Street. Technically, that's the town park parcel, which is the 16.5 acre site. It's better known as Town Park, but 66 School Street's the only mailing address we could associate with it, with that parcel. The vendors' tables, booths, and tents are to be located near the Spruce Street entrance of Stacy School in 3 distinct areas. The 4,000 square foot bus drop-off plaza area at the school entrance, the 4,100 square foot lawn area inside the bus loop, and the 6,200 square foot lawn area between the school building and Spruce Street, located directly across from the town library. Parking for a total of 178 vehicles is available for the public and vendors, with off-street parking for 82 vehicles in the school parking lot behind Stacy School, 14 overflow spaces in front of the school building off School Street. There's existing parking, public parking for 60 vehicles available on both sides of Spruce Street, and off-street parking for 22 vehicles available in the library parking lot on the days the library is closed. Temporary traffic cones are to be located as noted on the plan that was included in your packet and is also on the display board. That would prevent any vehicles from obstructing the bus lane. The farmers market is proposed to take place only between the hours of 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays during the months of June through October, with no setup work to take place prior to 8 in the morning, or takedown and cleanup work to take place beyond 3 in the afternoon on any market day. They've posted a bond with the Parks Department to mitigate any damage to lawn areas utilized by the market. I reviewed the application and accompanying site plan and find that all applicable zoning requirements appear to be met. It should be noted that the aerial photograph and plan submitted is sufficient for these purposes to qualify for a site plan. Therefore, I recommend approval, subject to all relevant agency comments. The comments are attached in the packet, except for the favorable comments from the fire department that somehow didn't manage to get in your packet for the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Let me see. Vonnie is the only one that really had a concern, and that's for traffic. Request approval includes signage directing patrons to school and municipal parking lots. That was her suggestion.
Yes, and that's included on the site plan.
Right, and that was just about it. Water company said okay, by the way.
Yeah,
I think
that's,
they would have given you a round of applause. No.
I didn't think they were going to
If
send
there wasn't a
anything.
salon in there, I think we'd be pretty welcome back at this point.
Yeah, that's about it. Any questions from the board?
No, I guess I only had a comment in that I'm shocked, I'm not gonna get in the middle of it, but I'm shocked that the school and the school department is allowing it in September and October, because I've been by that site and that gym is used during those months, and I have no idea how they're gonna do two things at that point in time, but they know their schedule better than I do, and they signed off on the permit, but I just think they're looking for, I'm fearful in September and October that this thing's gonna blow up.
I think that they're
think she
hopeful to
can-
be able to utilize Woodland at that point, Joe.
Yeah.
Truth be told, that's what they're
Sure,
hopeful.
Woodland, they can move to
Hopefully
Woodland.
that'll be, because, right now, I've gone by
slide.
that school during those months, and
I-
there's always stuff going on
I only
there.
wear one hat, I'm with you, I only wear one hat, but I think in theory, that's what they're hoping for, because the gym at Woodland, the new gym at Woodland's larger than the previous or existing.
Exactly. That'd work. And I believe she can handle it too, anyhow.
We did talk to the chief of police, and we committed to working with him on if we see something coming up, or if there is any kind of parking or.
Yeah, that was a
traffic issue.
suggestion too. If
Yep.
there's a parking problem,
Yep.
maybe you could have a detail
Yep,
officer there.
we had committed to, keeping in
Library
touch week to
typically
week
closed
if
that time of
something
year?
crops up one week,
The library
working
typically
for the next
closed on
week, so.
Saturdays?
Okay, anyone else in the audience have anything to add? No?
My only other, just quick observation, I don't specifically recall the library's schedule. I don't think in the summer that they are open on Saturdays,
No, they
but
aren't.
as you get into the fall, I don't recall if they are or they are not.
We looked at it, and we believe we're gonna overlap by 1 week in the beginning and 1 or 2 weeks towards the end.
Yeah, because that would be my only
And we would-
preference, is that you try to stay away from competing interests, if you will.
Yeah, no, and in the parking plan, specifically, it said there are signs that go to the alternative parking at the
Oh, I-
library, and those would obviously be taken down, and we would discourage that at all possible.
Yeah, I think you
No.
have plenty of parking,
Yeah.
obviously, not only street side, but in the rear
Internal-
lot. Yeah, in the
Internal
rear
is
lot.
plenty.
And the other thing is at the end of the summer, ends of September, beginning of October, those are the slower weeks on our ends to begin with, so
I just don't want to have you competing interests with
No.
the library, that's all.
No, and I talked to the director, and, we'll work with the director as much as we can to eliminate.
Yeah, if you don't set the bar encouraging your vendors to not park there from the get-go,
Oh, no, they're not allowed to park there.
then you should be fine. One or two cars that may wander in there for 15 minutes, I don't think is gonna be distinguishable. What I just didn't wanna see was vendor parking over there.
No.
That's an all-day venue, that's all.
No,
So,
they're going to,
I
there's
saw on the map on the overlay
specifically
where
in
you
the.
had them.
Yeah, in the back. We want them as far, well, we want to at least to give them the opportunity to be able to run to their vehicle if they have additional product, but we want them as far away as possible while maintaining that convenience.
Sure. Anything else?
Questions,
Any-
public?
any-
It's a public hearing.
Anybody in the audience have a question? Nothing? Quiet. All right, all those in favor?
Well, I make a motion, we
Close.
close the public hearing and,
Special permit.
yeah, approve the special permit.
Okay, we have the motion to close and approve, seconded by Pat. All those in favor? Four. Four in favor, none opposed.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
you send this down
Okay.
for,
We'll move right along.
Yes, moving right along.
this,
We have an amended site plan, Interstate Batteries, 235 East Main Street.
have,
Larry?
hold on a second. I was gonna have you sign the decision for the special permit.
Okay.
It's the last page there.
Thank you.
Okay, Interstate Batteries, 235 East Main Street. The applicant requests amended site plan approval to allow for the installation of a diesel fueling station on the subject property. The 500-gallon double-wall, self-contained, above-ground, they add any more to that, tank is located in the northwesterly corner of the site and will be used for the refueling of fleet vehicles. The proposed tank will be located adjacent to the proposed parking lot and protected with 6-inch bollards. The tank will be placed on a concrete spill containment pad. The adjacent fueling area will be a concrete pad with a positive limiting barrier surface. All applicable zoning and site plan requirements appear to be met. Therefore, recommend approval subject to relevant comments and provided detailed calculations for the plans and containment area provided are approved by the town engineer. In terms of that last comment, those concerns of the town engineer had been met, so you have a favorable report from Bonnie. Fire department had similar comments in terms of the construction and what's on the plan meets their requirements. The water company was okay, and those were the only comments we got back.
Right, I don't think you need any more. You're up.
Okay. Just like Larry said, this is East Main Street along the top. We were in here like about a year ago for this proposed addition for interstate. Basically, we're just here now for this above-ground fueling area. I worked with Vonnie on the location and the details that she wanted. That's basically it. We were just asking for this.
Just adding it to the side of the bill.
Yep, right here to the side of the parking.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, Peter, did you, I know the fire department looked at them, did he see the plans and the amount of bollards that you,
Correct, yes, he has.
and he is, okay.
Yeah, my client met with him prior to us submitting the amended site plan.
I think he's crazy for doing it, but.
Well, no, he says in his letter that either that or barrier in the planning board at our, he would be happy at our recommendation, I believe, if you read his letter. The applicant is going to comply with requirements of the sport vehicle protection, minimum 6-inch bollards or full-size barriers, and appropriate signage. A recommendation from the planning board on the type of vehicle protection preferred is welcome. So he's saying if we want to put full barrier, then
Yeah.
that's, he's certainly happy with our recommendation as opposed to bollards.
I just seen 2 bollards, that's why
I don't think the 2 bollards is enough.
that was a,
So would it be a
How many trucks do
recommendation?
they have?
I'm not sure. I think like 5.
Oh, they're more than that.
Well, I thought it was 5.
Golly,
15.
500 gallons and 5 trucks,
Honestly, I
that
don't-
doesn't leave a lot for the
No,
imagination.
it doesn't.
Just a thought. Where do you fuel? You come right up on the pad?
Yeah, you come right up on the pad if you want pad.
So Joe, you were suggesting more bollards or just something in
Either
addition?
more bollards or
I
a
think you
concrete,
need
or a
that. I think you
concrete or
need that.
Jersey barrier.
You need Jersey barriers
Jersey
around there, I
barrier,
think.
probably.
well, the problem,
Proximity of East Main Street too, if you have a random, you know,
well, the problem with the Jersey barrier
Is fueling, is
in the
getting
front
it.
is trying to get it to refuel and
Right.
go over, you have to jump the Jersey barrier every time.
Yeah, like 50 feet off the road. And this is all good. They just installed all new granite curbing over here as well. This is all grass and they just installed that granite curbing along the side of the road. Before there was nothing, it was all open.
I'd like to see 3 bollards, at least 3 bollards on all sides.
Joseph?
Yeah, more bollards would seem to make more sense than Jersey barriers just for
Well, I don't know,
accessibility.
this- I mean,
The backside.
backside, I mean, if you had 1, 2, 3 along that side, and 1, 2, 3 along the side to the parking lot, I can't imagine you can have much speed coming in from this side. I mean, you could put 3 there, I don't think the backside you need it though.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
that's where we get hit.
Would you
Yeah,
recommend,
from the
Joseph?
adjacent property.
3?
Technically, it would look 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5.
I just don't see the
Six.
practicality of this though, because if you got in excess of 5 trucks. I mean, 500 gallons is, you're gonna practically be filling this every day.
Again, we're not here to.
No, I'm just,
That's what
I,
they, that's what
I
they
see
told
no
me.
sense, I see no sense in putting the tank in at all, but
that's my point. I don't understand.
They were
if he
talking about
wants to do it,
refilling
then
it.
he's gonna do it.
Some of the talk that I was aware of was that they would be refilling the tank once a week. So their expectation of fleet vehicles, refueling there, that may not be the only place a fleet vehicle refuels.
Yeah, I was
depending on
gonna
what's
say, because
going.
that would not, the math just doesn't work. It's not practical.
I mean, I guess we're talking about 7 bollards total.
Yeah.
You'd have three across the front side, 2 on each sides. So you'd have
Do you want
Yeah.
some? I have
2,
one,
3.
2, 3, 4 right now along the front of the parking lot. So you want the same?
I'd say so, to kind of surround
Okay,
it.
I
I
can only
can't see, I
two.
can only
see
see,
two.
I see 3.
Well,
One right
they're
at
on the
corner,
corner.
one-
back.
Yeah, there's one on each corner.
One on each
Yeah.
One right
corner
in the middle.
and
They're
two.
They're spaced out like.
This plan here is like,
Oh,
look, you know.
I see 4.
see
I'm
it.
sorry, I see
Looking for
4.
the president.
I can't see anything, it's,
If I follow the arrows, on this one, you can see them. Don't use that one, because you can't see them.
The original's in color, so making the copies kind of lost it.
Follow the arrows, 1,
2.
2, 3, 4. See them?
What did he-
2, 1, 1.
Oh, okay,
So
I
you gotta
got you.
follow the
I
arrows.
got you.
So how many more?
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
2.
I'm less concerned from the parking lot side. I'm more
the
concerned
side,
from East Main Street side, to be perfectly frank with you.
Yeah, but for one more bollard, what the hell is the difference?
Yeah.
You're right. I'm just saying, though.
Yeah,
So where do you want them?
well, thank you. Well, how's this to make it easier? The distance, no distance between bollards can be greater than 6 feet? We need it on 3 sides, go around, whatever it comes out to.
Yeah, because if it's greater than 6
Starts at the
feet,
back,
something can get
starts at the
through.
corner along East Main Street, you go 6 feet, you start one there, put one
Right.
6 feet,
Yeah,
work it around, figure out what you have, and then if you need, you can, once you space it out, you may end up with ones at the corner instead, but
So
if
all the
you
way,
use-
all the way around the.
you don't have to worry about the back side that's facing,
You got the
that's
corners, you don't
facing
worry.
back here, so the 3 sides, that have possibility of somebody hitting you, East Main Street side, the parking lot side, and from the parking lot, those 3 sides have the bollard spacing no greater than 6 feet going around it.
Joe, just for clarity purposes, if you're gonna put them along the sides, what's the harm in putting them around the back?
You wanna put it around it?
I mean, you may be talking 1, 2
You're
additionally.
Probably talking 1.
That's
You
what I'm
gotta
saying.
pull
What's
it
the
down
harm?
anyway, so.
What's the harm in doing the back? So
So
encompass
6
it,
foot spacing around the whole thing.
could it be distance no greater than 6 feet apart? So if it works out, depending on where they
Yeah.
put them, maybe 3 in the back, 1 on the, you don't know how they're
Yeah.
gonna do this.
the 2 in the front, in the very front, they're 6 foot apart?
They should be, yes. It's
Yeah.
only,
Yeah,
that concrete
That's what I
thing
thought.
isn't that big.
right.
Because the concrete pad is 12 by 15, so that's less than 12 feet.
All right, so just add that to the plan, and
Okay, I can add that to the plan.
John or Lena can sign it during the week.
So, do you want to make a motion?
Motion, we approve the amended site plan
Oops.
With the-
I just lost one.
with the changes to
With the change.
the additional bollards.
Okay, moved by Joe, seconded by Babe. All those in favor?
Right, 4.
Unanimous of 4.
Thank you.
Distinct
Took us a while, but we finally made it.
Okay, endorsed site plan, we're gonna do the endorsing first or afterward?
Well, I
Well-
think in that, Lena's absence, I think we're gonna bypass number 5, wouldn't you?
We're gonna
suggest?
bypass 5, yeah.
I think Evelyn stayed with the expectation of being able to comment on number 5, so my suggestion would
Yeah, she
be
can
let
comment,
her
yeah.
let her comment on
Welcome to the
5, and then we'll
comments.
do the sign,
Right.
the
That's fine.
signatures. Yeah, come on.
All right,
Yeah, you can,
sign section.
yeah, no, they're going to come up and comment on the sign section.
I just have 2 questions.
Oh, come on up.
Thank you.
Evelyn Von Temple.
Your name, please?
Evelyn Von Temple.
Thank you.
3 West Walnut Street, Milford.
I didn't ask your age, just,
Going over the latest draft of November 17th, which is tonight. Is there, I can't find anything under the length of time, a temporary or freestanding sign, or for that matter, a banner on athletic fields.
We've
I think
moved,
we've discussed
we've
that.
moved away from length of time because there will be very little mechanism to uphold it. The problem becomes what changes a banner. If you give somebody the right to put it up, which we do, and I'm not saying this is the final draft, but I can go through our reasoning for this, is that if we allow people to put up a sign, it's not called a temporary permit, we allow people to put up a sign in a residential area. That sign goes up, and then we say, okay, it's good for 60 days, okay? So there's the sign, and someone comes in and says, you gotta take that down, it's been 60 days. The person says, no, that's not the same sign, I moved it 2 inches. It's a different sign, different location. There is no way that we would ever be able to get into a situation. Effectively, what this does is we're thinking is, if we're going to allow signs in residential areas, the time frame is gonna be something that just becomes absolutely impossible to police.
Maintain.
Right. So that Kiwanis Park is considered a residential area,
Yes,
all right? And Tank Field is a residential area,
yes.
all right? And there's no way to enforce, for instance, there is a sign that was put up at Tank Field,
What I believe,
not a banner, a sign.
yes,
A sign.
but those are on town property.
Yes, I understand,
The
that's,
town has every right
To
to
take 'em
enforce
down.
whatever time they want to put on it.
All
We
right.
have to write a general bylaw that will
All right.
fit
and
everything.
who
This
would
board
put?
would grant a
May I-
special.
May I please give an example, Mr. Caligione?
Mm-hmm.
Right, there is a sign at Tank Field that was put in place September 23rd, 2015, for an event of November 26th, 2015.
Mhm.
And I just think over 2 months to have a sign on town property does not give somebody else the opportunity to have a sign for their event. I just think 30 days for a sign is adequate. But
The,
who would that be the
I don't-
building inspector
that
department?
portion, right now, that sign, my understanding is that's through the Board of Selectmen. Somebody would need to make, somebody, I believe, had to make a request to the town administrator,
Right.
and then the Board of Selectmen would approve that.
All
That's
right.
what's happening right now today.
All right, okay.
Right now, as part of this bylaw, that isn't addressed yet, and that's one of the things that we, whether, and we've had various discussions, and we will have ongoing discussions about this, as to whether we take those locations that are town-owned and have them continue with it going to the town administrator, or whether it comes back to this board, and somebody would make a site plan application to put a sign up at those locations as part of the discussion that we've had, but there hasn't been a decision, so I can't tell you. That's, that will be stuff that we'll be discussing over the next couple months.
I understand.
But my understanding right now is those signs, the way they're being
All right.
controlled is through the Board of Selectmen. We
All right.
don't have any control right now, for sure.
I understand, thank you.
But in the draft in the latest draft,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to do that,
Right.
because we're regulating signs under this proposal. Let me give this back to you before I steal you.
which one is
We're-
that?
We're regulating signs under this proposal
The one that you have in your hand.
in,
No,
as,
but which one? Is it 392? Is it which one, sir?
well, that's what I'm,
Well, it would actually be regulated on the side. They wouldn't be able to do it because of size, for one thing. The maximum is 6 square feet, the way this is
No,
written
I'm
right
not,
now.
Well,
I-
temporary
I'm
portable
not-
signs,
yeah, is the next to the last or last page.
All right, then, okay, next to last. I'm not talking about the size
No, but
or
it,
the content.
but this would just say in the residential zones, you could have not more than one sign on the same zoning lot at any one time, except that during the months of March,
Yeah.
April, September, October, November, no more than 4 such signs would be permitted on the same zoning lot at any one time.
All right.
It doesn't have anything to do about what it says. It regulates the size and the height, and it can't be illuminated, but the number of signs that you'd be allowed to have as a temporary or portable sign in a residential zone is 1 per lot, except on those months, which happen to be either local elections or other elections. Right now, then that would allow up to 4 signs. But those are on private property. Those are on people's land.
No, that I understand
But it would
that.
also
I'm
apply to
talking
the
about
town.
town
It would
property.
apply to town property,
Yes.
because this bylaw doesn't distinguish the way it's drafted right now amongst the types of ownership. It only distinguishes between properties in the context of whether they're a street or a zoning lot.
All right.
That covers all the land in town in those 2 categories. And the zoning lot can be town-owned, could be state-owned,
All right.
or it could be your lot, or my lot, or John's lot, but those aren't in a street, so those are zoning lots, one way or another. So what this says then is that generally, you could have 1 portable sign, and it could say whatever you want. Now, if you want to use up your allocation of that portable sign to let me advertise something that I want to say on your lot, then you could do it. But that means then that you can't use that sign to say what you want to say. So what that does is takes the town out of the business of having to actually read the sign and look at the content, which is what the Supreme Court says we can't do.
Yeah,
So,
I read that.
you know, the
Yes.
result of applying the strict ruling, strict interpretation of the Supreme Court's content neutrality decision gets you into a structure like this. So this draft right here doesn't provide for the banners and the signs that are all over Tank Field or in those intersections. If this were passed just the way it is right now, that would all go away, and that would clean up the town.
Right.
So now the question is, well, are there any of those types of signs or types of displays that the community, that the planning board feels the community might generally want to see? And then we have to figure out a way to address those differently from what's in there now.
Right.
So,
And that's something that we really haven't, we've gotten to this point, we haven't discussed that other one yet. That's one of the reasons why this was not ready for a special town meeting, and hopefully will be ready for the next town meeting, is because
Yeah.
the intent is for us to have a discussion on that, to go to the Board of Selectmen and get their buy-in as to, because I don't know what the right answer is. You know, we all have our own opinions, but the fact of the matter is we have to get it passed on town meeting floor. And so we want to make sure that everybody's comfortable with the way that it's worded. Does the town want to allow those signs on Tank Field? Is that what the feeling is? And then how do we do it? And that really hasn't been discussed yet. It's taken us this long to get to the point where we think that the context of this, in discussing things like, is there temporary signs anymore? Do we just get rid of that wording? And how do we eliminate things that aren't signs, making sure that we don't classify those as signs? So we've done that. We're now into trying to figure out how we handle those things, and we really haven't got there yet.
All right. No, I believe that when you do go to town meeting, a lot of this has to definitely be simplified, because
We've had that discussion.
really simplified, just going through the June 15, 2015 Supreme Court ruling, which everyone said was easy to read, I found very, very difficult, and I actually had to use a dictionary for many of the vocabulary in certain paragraphs.
We've had that discussion.
You're absolutely right.
We will probably take this as, we're thinking that we're going to do this as two articles. One being most of this and then pulling out the what's now called temporary, even though they're not temporary, and doing that as a separate article, only because the first article really, except for some cleanup and some rewording just to take out some ambiguities, is effectively the same bylaw that we have today. And so I'm thinking, or we're thinking, that that portion of the sign bylaw should be relatively easy at town meeting, get that over with, and then there will be, I'm sure, an extensive discussion on what we now call temporary signs.
All right, I do have for me, a concern on the intersection of 16 and South Main Street.
Well, those are being done by the selectman and the town administrator. We don't have anything to do with that now. Our current bylaw says if it's in the right-of-way, the selectmen issue the permits. So whatever's happening out there,
All right, well, what is happening out there, just to make you aware, is a monument to Robert A. Mancini, who was killed in World War II, whose plane, he was a pilot, the plane went down, and he and the crew were never recovered. It's a difficult intersection, as you well know. Straight across is CVS, then you have, Milford Hospital has their rehabilitation visit, and I only know that because taking my husband, who had a knee replacement, taking him there, set of lights that I can go, take my right, set of lights that tells me I can go across to CVS, or I can take my left. And then if I'm coming from the so-called Route 16, or we used to call it the Cape Road, I can stop at the lights and then take a left to get back onto South Main Street. There is an island there.
Yeah, I know where the monument is very
All
well.
right, and that's with the monument. And right now, there are 4 A-frame signs next to the monument, 4. So, no, I'm just
Yeah.
making you aware of it. This, I find this upsetting, because I don't believe it gives any honor to the name or to the man whose monument is there.
I don't know that
Excuse
discussions
me.
with this board,
All right,
that going forward, that we have any plan on allowing those types of signs in those locations with what we're doing.
All right.
I mean, what we've talked about is Tank Field,
all right.
Louisa Lake,
So what about,
Lotto Field. The selectmen apparently have allowed that. We have no jurisdiction over
All
that.
right,
That. It's
so-
town property.
all right.
Um,
So then maybe, so that what I should do is speak to the selectmen, is that?
I would,
Mr.
the selectmen and the
Caratoni?
town
All
administrator.
Right.
Because, one of the signs was chained to a pole that says beer left. So you can't, whoever chained it, you can't remove it.
Yeah,
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah, as far as.
So it's not in
we
the
have no-
jurisdiction of the planning board that I should give my concern to the Board of Selectmen?
That's all Board of Selectmen.
All
They,
right.
they've okayed the usage because it's town property and
If they've given the okay.
if they have.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Otherwise they are illegal.
Because- Yeah, because usually if one person puts a sign up, then it snowballs, and everyone says, well, if he can do it, then I can do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
All right,
I wouldn't be one that would be, if this were to move forward in its own thing, I don't believe that that's a location that we need to be putting up signs. So we're talking about trying to taking this as the basis and looking at locations where we may allow something slightly different. That is not a location that I would be, personally, that I would be
it's
allowing it.
very distracting. I mean, that particular intersection,
Yep.
it's dangerous.
Yep.
All
Yeah,
right.
it is.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
To
Okay.
that point though, Joe, just as a side note, that's not the only intersection, there's a lot of
Oh,
raised
no.
intersections.
Not at all.
Matter of fact, over by the former Dunkin' Donuts, there's always signs there.
Yeah, the one,
I personally, my personal belief is any of those raised intersections, if you will, anything that's gonna impede the motoring traffic, they shouldn't be there.
yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't,
And I believe today, they're illegal. I don't know why
Yeah.
they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they should not be allowed because you do have the
Absolutely.
tendency they
Yep.
either impede the pedestrian traffic or they could visually impede the motor
yes,
traffic.
you're
So
no, I agree, and
those-
that,
those should not be
yeah,
there.
and that's why going forward, I don't think we'd be entertaining allowing those, even if we did put something out somewhere else. I think,
Because you run the risk of impeding
Right.
traffic.
Yep.
Whether it be pedestrian or motorized.
yep.
Yeah, the draft right now doesn't allow.
No, it doesn't allow it at all, I know that.
And
yeah.
then that's why they shouldn't be there.
But even when we talked about it, it was like, okay, maybe we put them on the wall at Tankfield, we put them at Bottolata, we put them, or down Roosevelt, I mean, but certainly I'm not thinking we're gonna allow them in the middle of islands. You know, that isn't where I would want to go there.
The last thing on our agenda is endorsing the Mylars, so I assume we can close the meeting.
Motion.
Motion by Pat, seconded by Joe to close the meeting. Thank you and good night.